Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guests today are Matt Boris and Ben Clarkson, the crazy men behind Justice Warriors at Ahoy Comics. Um, yeah, that's how I'm going to start, and I'm going to let you guys take it from there, at least for the moment. Tell us about Justice Warriors.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Justice Warriors is a dystopian mutant buddy cop satire that Ben and I do, and the second volume is coming out in September. It's called Justice Warriors Vote Harder, and it deals with an election in the world of Bubble City, which is a perfect city that's crime free, of course, and then outside where the cops patrol, which is the uninhabited zone where millions of mutants live.
But
Yeah,
it's
And
uninhabited.
yes,
it's
and it,
densely inhabited. Justice Warriors is sort of a Akira meets Lethal Weapon reboot of The Simpsons. So it takes place in this sci-fi, on the surface, a sci-fi mega dystopian hellhole where crime is rampant and everyone is mutated from environmental, economic collapse, just toxic events constantly happening, dumping radioactive waste. And it follows two fascist boots on the ground that crush any resistance against the luxury condominium development called the Bubble, which is inside of this domed mega structure at the center of this vast swamp, this toxic morass. It's a comedy.
Ben, it sounds like you have a deep, like, binder of backstory on Justice Warriors.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
Justice Warriors originated as a animated series that I had sort of invented in my head canon, in my like
Okay.
schizophrenia, locked away in my animation studio by myself. And I had reached out to Matt at some point when I went completely insane, and I just thought, I'm going to turn this into my job. This isn't just an idea I have anymore. I'm going to make this fucking thing. And so I reached out to Matt and asked him, like, do you want to be a producer and write on a series that doesn't exist yet and may never exist? And he really loved the concept that I had shown him, from working on it together, he loved it. And then he quit his job, and we were like, Justice Warriors. We're doing Justice Warriors together. And it
Wait,
became
wait a minute,
our.
wait a minute. Hold on. You quit your job at the NIB for this. I thought it was something about like funding and whatnot.
no, I quit political cartooning in 2021,
Oh, okay.
and I mean
That's
I had been
slightly an exaggeration. He quit his job, but I love to exaggerate a story.
No, I know. I just like I'm all
yeah
for quitting your job for Justice Warriors as long as it's not also why I don't get daily NIB emails because I still miss them.
yeah no the nib closed down later in about a year ago now, actually in 2023. But
I
Ben
know I was at
Ben
the
con
party.
oh yeah Ben contacted me, and I'm trying to think. I guess it was summer 2020,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
yeah, yeah.
pretty crazy time. And we had been working on it for a while, developing it for a while, and I was overwhelmed with, or I shouldn't say overwhelmed with. I Running the nib and doing political cartoons had been a lot the entire time I was doing the nib. It was hard to keep up anyway. And I had wanted to get into doing genre comics for a long time and was just getting tired of doing regular political cartoons, which by the end of the Trump era, it just felt like there was nothing new to
The
say about
same one
anything,
every
and
day.
mass shootings and Trump is
Yeah,
bad and
yeah.
everything else. So I get to do political satire through this, but in a much different way. So, like I mentioned, it's an election thing, but it's not about Trump or Biden, and there's not sort of those kind of like one-to-one direct parallels. It's a lot broader. We go after a lot of targets, and I think it's a lot more fun to do stories that way. And it's an actual story.
I
And
mean,
even
it's
though,
good that you
yeah,
didn't make it about Trump or Biden because that would have aged very poorly.
Yeah, this
yeah,
election's hilarious.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, this election has been very unpredictable, as you will see with Justice Warriors Vote Harder. We have I guess I'll state the setup. We have the
Yeah.
Prince. The Prince is like the celebrity pop star mayor of Bubble City.
Not to be
And
confused with Prince, who's very cool.
not to be
The
confused with
Prince,
him,
not
but if you've ever heard any stories about Prince, Prince is
yeah.
a brilliant musician. I love Prince. But if you ever heard any stories
He was a
about him,
weird dude.
he shouldn't be president, right, of the United States.
No.
So this is sort of like if this is sort of like if Prince or even Kanye West really is like becomes the president.
But if
So
I
yeah.
haven't reread Justice Warriors recently,
Mhm.
but I feel like the Prince was much more concerned with album sales than Prince was.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
yes,
Prince just made the music. The
yeah,
Prince needed to be top of the charts.
yes. Our Prince is. I mean, I think one of the jokes is he's the Prince and the mayor at the
Right.
same time.
Okay.
Yes, he's very concerned with clout and his sales and his streams and his online favorability. I mean, everyone in the world of Justice Warriors is pretty online. That becomes a sort of running, not just a running joke, but like a thing that
It's structural.
causes the characters to act, right.
Right.
The police chief is obsessed with online, her mentions. Swamp Cop is dating online, and the antagonists of the first volume, the Libra gang, is sort of a on super online Zodiac cyberpunk gang that are kind of like a cross between Maoist revolutionaries and like people who are addicted to Zodiac and therapy Instagrams.
I like it. I mean, I did like it. I love the first one. Um, I apologize for not rereading it recently. I've been
I don't know if that's a requirement or something that you have to
no.
apologize for.
Well, I just meant in terms of, I mean, Ben did his burpees for podcast prep. Normally I
Mhm.
do reading for podcast prep, but I've been doing too many podcasts and actually spending time with family and like teaching.
Human relationships.
Human
Right, I
relationships. No, you got to
know.
do physical
Sick.
training to prepare yourself
Sick.
for a conversation over the internet.
Um, but yeah, no, I love the satire level and I mean I can tell that Ben just put himself in a dark room and let let insanity creep in. But Matt, what did you bring to the table when Ben called you in?
I don't know. I guess the thing I brought most to the table was changing it into a comic book so that it could get made. uh, Ben is an animator first, but if you read Justice Warriors, I mean, the first volume is his first comic. I mean, it's operating
Right.
at, I think, an astonishing level. I'm not just
Yeah.
trying to blow smoke up his ass. I mean, he's a great artist.
I do like that.
And
I like the
gets,
smoke.
and gets comics, which are different than animation. A lot
Yeah,
of
no,
people.
there's a lot of times when animators and comics don't get the panel structure and how to storytell on a page. And
Well, and
I
I
will
would,
give Ben his hat tip for
yeah, and
Excellent.
I think
I deserve it.
a lot of
I
comics,
take it back.
well, a lot of
He's not
comics
humble enough.
comics borrow a lot from uh movies. I think in particular these days, and a lot of people from that realm, tend to sort of just translate, panel for panel, and what establishing shots are, and
Right.
putting characters in the foreground and blah blah blah. But Ben thinks about it in a comics way, with the same way I do, which is like, utilizing the page really well. And I mean, I think he's great at it, and I think that Vote Harder, there's some incredible shots, scenes, pages. We really worked this one over and tried to refine what we were doing to make it excellent.
Yeah, we tried to make it not only funny, because we don't have any struggle with funny. We're really
Yeah,
good
I mean,
at
and you
being
work
funny.
so hard for the laughs. I mean, officer shit looks like a pile, so
Yeah,
there's
for me, officer shit. People gave me crap, haha, for officer shit from the absolute beginning when I was showing them Justice Warriors, and I love officer shit because it's such an it's such an easy joke to make a police officer a literal pile of shit that no one has ever done it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Kind of like
such
Dogman. I mean, once somebody finally went, people went like dogs. Superheroes are named something man. They made Dogman, and he's now like the best-selling superhero writer in the world.
there you go.
Exactly.
Everybody missed it for.
And we're the 134th best-selling.
135,000.
You are the. Let's see if we can, because I'm a baseball guy, and sometimes with baseball we get into really specific statistics to be able to make people seem better than they are. So how about you are the best future dystopian political satire cartoonist coming out from Ahoy Comics in between September 1st and 15th of 2024.
When
I
you
think we could
dial it
honestly
in,
just say we're the best thing coming out of Ahoy Comics too.
Ooh.
Not the best book, but Justice Warriors has done really, really well. That's something that we're really proud of.
But I mean, you got My Bad over at Ahoy. You
Oh,
got
I'm not
Second Coming over at Ahoy.
I'm not disparaging my colleagues. I'm just saying in terms of like I'm strictly a units moved pervert.
Oh,
yeah, it's done.
Love
it's done
sales.
well. It's gone to
third
print.
printing,
It's
I
gone
heard.
to third printing and stuff, and
right.
so it does. It does well in trade, especially because I think it's not. We're selling to people that love comics but aren't like going to shops every week.
I mean, most of the best books at this point do better in trade than they do.
Yeah. Unless
issue.
you have a huge name, even if you have a huge name, I think a lot of people just wait for the trade because there's so much coming out. I know I usually do.
I mean, really, if you're not doing better in trade, it's probably not that good. Because so many of us who buy the single issues buy the trades for our rereads.
Yeah. You're
There's a problem if your trade sales aren't better than your single issue sales.
And then, so just to be clear, Justice Warriors Vote Harder is coming out in
You're
September.
In its experience.
Yes, it's just coming out as a trade or an original
that Netflix binge it all model.
An original graphic novel, if you will. That is how it's billed. It was written as a 5-issue series because we started it thinking that it would be single issues, but then
so it'll feel like it's got those breaks a little bit, even though
if we do another volume, which I certainly hope and think that we will, because this has been successful so far. If they just say, okay, you have 120 pages and you can write it, that will change things. But I did like writing it as a 5-issue. It forces you to constrain things.
Yeah.
It's not like it's necessarily done with like cliffhangers and picking it up like the serialized comic is, but we do have certain issues focus on certain things, and it's contained within that, and it gives you some boundaries, I guess, some guardrails to write in, and I think we made the most of that.
Yeah, I like the episodic format because you have to have an arc every 20 pages. And that just keeps up the pace of the book. People have said that it's a page turner, which is something that I'm really happy to hear because
I mean, that's just because the writing's great and the art. I mean,
there's other mechanics going on that make something a page turner too.
You got to move through those pages fast.
Yeah, like good storytelling, doling out information and arcs on a regular basis, rewarding people for remembering something that happened 5 pages ago. That's like a really important thing as a writer to keep in mind for the reader, is that you have to constantly be doling out rewards for their close reading. And giving the audience something and thinking about the audience's experiences rather than thinking about what we want to say. We get what we want to say across. I think the book is very successful in doing that. But something I'm really proud in the book is just how fun it is to read, how often interesting things are happening, how often there are payoffs, callbacks. It's a really tight book, and we really enjoyed the format.
Well, I'll go away from bad dad jokes because that takes me to a more serious question. How do you plan out your callbacks? I mean, is it something where when you're drawing initially, you go, okay, I'm just drawing. And then you go, I remember something I drew 4 pages ago that could fit in here. Let me kind of reference it. Or are you planning it from the get-go? I want to do this here and come back to it there.
I think
I've
The
heard
book
both
is
from
tightly scripted, very tightly
yeah,
scripted.
and rewritten. Like so, it's 95% of what you're saying is happening in the writing phase for sure, and even I mean, we do a pretty strong outline of, we don't want to, we're not making this thing up as we go. Like I know some cartoonists that maybe if you're writing an ongoing or something, it's like
right,
month to month and you're just trying to keep
right.
up. But this is very heavily, we sort of start with where we want to go. Right. And we did have to revise down initially from, we were kind of planning on 6 issues and a lot more. We had so in Vote Harder, we have 3 candidates. And initially we had planned for 4, which kind of seems insane now. So we trimmed back some of like the scope of the
Did one
election.
of the candidates have a brain worm?
No, I don't think so. But we didn't end
There
up right.
was
Oh
a
no, you're right.
there
Ben.
was a silverfish. There was
Yeah.
a giant talking silverfish which had attached itself to a guy's brain and was sucking out his brain slowly after he got hit by a toxic flush from a pipe. And that became a democracy consultant. And this parasitic organism
Is that democracy with a actual democracy, or is that just like
democracy in
quote,
quotations. I'm sure
quotation
on his
democracy?
business card it would be democracy in quotations. And so this guy literally had like a brain worm and he was a parasite and he was
Yeah.
consulting
God, I
on
remember
the
that.
tanks. I still love that idea.
Yeah.
I still want to use that idea somewhere.
Well,
But to your
I mean, you could put together the either the hardcover special edition with the 2 volumes, or once you've got a third, you can
oh
really go
no,
after it
we're gonna wait
and be
until
able
we
to
have 5 or 10.
well,
Oh,
but
it's gonna
whatever.
be
But then you
it's
can
gonna be a
like
big book.
then you can throw in the bonus material and bring
Yeah.
back the fish that could have been.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, we plan to do, I mean, I want to do a volume a year almost indefinitely, at least 10 volumes. We have ideas for them. Like
Okay.
that's why me and Ben hit it off so well, is that we just came up with so many great ideas for this world. And the idea is, the overall approach is that each volume we sort of tackle a different aspect of society. So the first one was like economic crashes and social movements, and then this one is an election. And we can go all around to the drug trade, sports.
Aren't those kind of the same thing?
Well,
They do interact in many interesting ways, and those will be seen when people purchase the 3rd and the 4th volumes of Justice Warriors.
So are you already at work, or are you kind of waiting for the sales? I mean,
yeah, we're not at work yet, but I mean,
not officially.
Yeah,
I got notebooks.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to speak. It's hard to speak on it because anything can happen. But like,
right.
Ahoy's been pretty good. I feel like this one's going to do at least as good and hopefully better than the first volume. So all reason to believe we should continue with Justice Warriors, but that means it's very important to order it by the time it comes out on September 11th.
Yes. Pre-ordering is key to this book. I am honestly concerned about supply issues for it because the last book sold out almost immediately once it was released. And then we couldn't even promote it for like it was like 3 months it was out of print. And our sales window was highly truncated by supply demands. So I've been like very annoying in emails asking to make sure we have enough copies. And I've been really focused on getting people to know about the book ahead of time.
Yeah,
so
this is where I will quickly say, anybody listening, hi Mom, hi John, please go to your local comic shop if you want one and pre-order it. But hopefully also being more of a known quantity, you'll have more, particularly the bigger shops or bookstores, order big initially.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works with graphic novels over kind of how they take risks on, a new number one issue, because it's like a different system with comic shops. But yes, more people know about it. More people hopefully go in and buy it. And, I always view it as more people. How do I want to say this? More people will read Justice Warriors in the future than have already read it. We intend to grow this thing over time. So more volumes of number one will sell in the future than have already sold, is how I'm,
right.
we want this to be like Hellboy level franchise, right? Constantly coming out.
You're going to have spin-offs.
Well,
spin-off ideas.
I think we could have spin-offs. I think the Chief could have her own comic, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, if this was popular enough. Yeah. I mean, the world is so big. You have inside Bubble City, you have the entire uninhabited zone, you have the police, you have other aspects of society, because we're focusing on it's kind of structurally a buddy cop thing. Swamp and Shit are the main characters. I mean, we could do you could do other things in this world, right? I mean,
I mean, you can have the
uninhabited zone.
Uninhabited zone cooking show.
Who knows what they're up to on that?
Or the
turk and eggs. How to cook turk and eggs.
No, exactly.
Who takes
how to
care
poach
of
an
the
egg?
kids in Bubble City? Do they actually have nannies from inside Bubble City, or do they have to come through from the uninhabited zone?
They come in from the 100%. They come in from the uninhabited zone. I would love to get into the flow of guest workers.
There's a lot of labor relations that we like to talk about. Like we've only gotten to so much in the comics, but Ben and I have kind of fleshed out a lot of ideas for how production and the economy and various economies, underground and above ground, work in this world.
So I watched the trailer because it was fun listening to H. John Benjamin, and it worked well as a cartoon. Have you given up on the idea of it? No. So comics and cartoons. Comics are obviously better, but getting you guys paid is best. So I like to.
You'd be surprised at how that is no longer an option, even in animation anymore.
Well, that I get. No, I would not be surprised. I talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think if we got paid to do a show, we would get paid better than comics, but there's not a world in which you get rich anymore doing this stuff.
But if you have both a show and the comic, you're getting paid from two sources is more what I meant.
And as long as if people keep buying it, we can make money on the back end. That is the plan.
The toys and the role playing game.
We have a guy for a role playing game too. Yeah, I'm up on that.
See, I mean, you want to be the Mignolaverse. You got to think.
No, we've
picture.
We've talked about this stuff. I mean, we are actively pursuing an animation thing. I mean, like a lot of people are, but we desperately want this to be a movie or a episodic show.
I would totally buy Swamp Cop and Officer Shit action figures.
Yes,
I'm just saying that right now.
People love Officer Shit. They continue to make fan art of Officer Shit. There's that the audacity to make something so stupid, I think makes an impression on people. And
that's what I was going to say earlier when you were talking about shit being an easy joke, is like, we're not afraid of going super lowbrow and gross in this comic, but we're also doing like
super highbrow, and you got to be paying attention. And that's one of the things I love about it is that, well, and I mean, let's be fair. It's a good marketing strategy, because this book could like be picked up by the MAGA faithful who get the entirely wrong message out of it, but you get their money anyway.
That is my dream.
I think you could. I mean, it would be hard to miss. It would be hard to miss a lot of what we're going for, because it's right there on the page. But
underestimate.
There's that famous example of Sargon of Akkad, that hilarious YouTuber who made like a 2-hour defense of the based coolness of Starship Troopers and how it wasn't a satire. So it's fully possible for like.
So I mean, what I think of is a friend of mine turned me on to a podcast called Knowledge Fight,
Mhm.
where they listen to Alex Jones so you don't have to. And they essentially take like snippets from his show and mock him mercilessly while also breaking down what a grift it is. Um, but the first episode I listened to, he had Nick Fuentes on, and he and Nick talked completely unironically about how their favorite Star Wars movie was Revenge of the Sith because of how brilliant Palpatine was playing both sides against each other. He's got and I'm sitting there going, did you
Well, you've got to admire the man's
completely
political
miss
genius. I mean, he was
yeah,
he was able to, dismantle a republic and
that's
use their own
exactly what
system
they're
against
saying.
them. I mean, it was
But they're talking about that like it was the point of the movie. Like anybody who didn't get that out of it wasn't watching the same movie as them. And I'm sitting there going,
yeah.
"Oh
Well, the
my
reason
God,
I guess
this is how crazy these people are."
but from their perspective, the emperor and the fascism is coming from the left, and so that's their read on
Yeah,
it. I think
they're
I think
reordering the world.
Yeah, I think Justice Warriors can be enjoyed as a straight. I mean, this is like a political thriller. This is what
Right.
Vote Harder is, and we work hard to make it enjoyable as a story, as an action story. I mean, it's in some ways, I think it's probably the most political mainstreamish book that's on the stands, but we're not trying to like beat people over the head and force them to agree with us either. Like it's you could read it as a conservative or as an apolitical person and say, God damn, this was fun. Like that's what I actually would like people to do.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't want to play your hand, and you don't want to preach to the audience. You want to enthrall them. You want them to be turning the page. They want to see what's going on next. And then after they've enjoyed the story that they couldn't put down because of the form, because of good storytelling, because of good jokes, because of good art, then they can think about it, and they can either reject the thoughts they have or they can take them. But you're not going to get someone to think about something unless you've fascinated them, unless you've taken them on a ride. Like no movie where someone is telling you, like, you don't watch a movie and then the professor is like, this is political theory, I'm explaining why I'm right. You don't want to watch a movie of just a professor lecturing you. You want to watch a movie because the truck blew up.
I mean, it's the educator in me, but the first step of good education is encouraging people to ask questions. If they're not asking their own questions, they're not going to care about learning. It's not. It's the difference between teaching and preaching is like, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to encourage you to discover. And in encouraging you to discover, I may wind up teaching you many things that are from my perspective or whatnot, but the discovery, the path to it matters.
And a lot of Justice Warriors is showing you how the world shouldn't be and how people shouldn't behave. Like whereas let's say superhero books are often modeled as this is an ideal of people who choose right over wrong and behave in heroic ways. We have our main characters who are cops and not particularly good ones in both senses of the word. But I still think that you can read them and like them as characters. And there's a new character in this book called Fen, who's a mutant. What do I want to say? I don't want to say too much about her, but she's a mutant that's part of the uninhabited zones candidate who's put forward, the third party candidate essentially, who's a mutant that lives inside of a tank. Read the comic for more information about that. But
pre-order is available now.
Yes. She's the one who you're most likely to agree with in a most straightforward way, right? She's a person who's fed up with the system, wants to do something about it, and is caught between working within the system, essentially pushing electoralism and voting versus being fed up with it and thinking it can't change things. So I'm interested to see how people react to her character, because I think Ben and I put a lot into her as far as our own. She's not a stand-in for us, but she is
She's at least
expressing.
sympathetic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'm gonna aim towards Ben for a few minutes here because he's not the guy with the deeper comics background, or at least not working. Are you a big comic fan? Have you been reading comics all of your life? And in that sense, the transition was easy, or if not, how did you prepare to transition from? And I mean, because I honestly, I knew about you and your animation background when I looked you up about half an hour ago. So, but in some ways, I mean that as a compliment because I can normally tell when an artist draws a comic that doesn't have a heavy comics background, and I didn't pick that up when I was reading Justice
No,
Warriors.
I don't have a big comics background. I've never worked in comics before. I did a couple like personal comic books, just sort of because I had the idea of like, oh, I should probably learn how to do comics because I can draw and I know how to tell stories, and animation is wildly expensive and time consuming and very difficult. Uh, I didn't really have much of a comics background before making Justice Warriors, before making our first volume.
Even as like a reader.
I had read some of the classics. I'm big into Mobius. I really like Robert Crumb. I really like some manga, but I wasn't a big comic head. I had read the Scott McCloud books on like how to understand comics, how to make comics, but those were several years out. I read Eisner's sequential fiction, I think it's called. I had looked into that stuff and started thinking about like, what if I told my own stories? What if I developed my own stuff? I had developed a comic book that I call Hellcat, which is basically just it's me doing Looney Tunes because I love Looney Tunes and I want to return to tradition and just do Looney Tunes cartoons for the rest of my life.
I mean, that sounds awesome. You might need a new title before you go to print with it because Marvel's got their character and they
might come after me. I bring it, Marvel.
Toonie Loons, I call it.
Toonie Loons.
I wasn't talking about the Toonie Loons. I was talking about the
Hellcat. Yeah, Hellcat is for me only. I don't think it has much value outside of.
That's what Jaime Hernandez said about his women in wrestling stuff until Katie Skelly saw it and said, Jaime, you need to make this into a book. So I mean,
who knows? It's definitely not the top of my list of things I'm pitching next. I'm no longer working on the Hellcat comic series. So yeah, I wasn't a strong comics guy, but I do really believe in formal storytelling and put it in using the form of whatever medium you're working in. That's how you get an oomph in there. That's the power of any content comes from the form. So if you're not learning about the form that you're using, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. So I definitely focused on page design. I focused on the things I know are unique about comics, especially in the first one, and some of the more notable pages come out of my successes in that regard. In Vote Harder, I'm much more confident. I know what I'm doing. And from it, Matt and I also worked much more tightly in planning out pages, in designing pages, and writing the entire thing. It's a much more concise thesis than the first one of what we're trying to accomplish with Justice Warriors.
Well, and similar question for Matt. Most of your experience before Justice Warriors was single panel or like strip political cartooning. How was the adaptation from working in like 1 to 4 panels, that sort of thing, to okay, I got to plan out 3 to 5 panels per page and a whole book of them to make this. I mean,
easy, good. It felt. I mean, first of all, it was just something that was long in the works for me, and I've been a comics nut since I was, could hold a pencil. So it didn't feel like anything new. I did a graphic novel back in the day. At this point, about 15 years ago, called War is Boring, that I drew and didn't write. So I've been and I've edited a lot. So I've, sort of had experience all around. But this is my first proper comic book. I don't want to sound arrogant or something, but I didn't feel like there was a huge learning curve or anything. I mean,
no,
Ben,
it's not, I mean, again,
yeah.
I ask the questions just because I'm fascinated by how many different experiences people have doing the same things, not because I expect it to be harder. I mean, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy.
And Ben, it was Ben's first comic too, other than Hellcat. And I mean, we co-write the thing, and it's a combination of our sensibilities and our ideas, and it works out really well. Yeah.
I had a question. I seem to have lost it. Let me see if it comes back. Talk amongst yourselves. Not as good at coming up with those either. I hate it when
you got it. You can just cut this part out.
You can just cut it.
I'm gonna take
that's a good looking apple, Matt.
I know.
What kind of apple is that?
What kind of apple is that?
It's a large red apple. I don't know
You don't know the type of apple? You're not some sort of apple psycho like me?
I'm not an apple freak. I just bought this. It's a large apple. I bought it in San Diego. I was at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh.
And what I do is I go to the grocery store first thing when I get into town for something like that. And I buy food to make for myself and to carry with me so that I don't have to pay $32 a meal. Right. So I bought healthy snacks, and this was my apple that didn't get eaten on the trail. So I brought it home, and I was just
still crunchy.
It's a Comic-Con apple.
It's crunchy enough. I was munching on it a little bit when you were talking about your comics reading. I had the mic on mute, but let's give it a good.
I want to hear
crunch.
a crunch.
Let's do the crunch audio.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Not super crunchy, but enough that it doesn't feel disgusting in your mouth.
Right.
It looks like either a Red Delicious or a Cortland. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Cortland. How white is it on the inside? I'm a bit of an apple guy.
Boy, yeah. When it comes to apples, I don't know much. I know.
I'm really into apples, honestly.
I like apples. I just don't really regard the kinds. I don't know.
That looks like a Cortland. That looks like a Cortland.
It to me, I'm big, just like, what is it? It's a normal apple. It's red, and
could be an early season Macintosh.
It could be. We don't know what they've got out in California.
What store did you buy it at? That might help us.
I'd have to look at the receipt.
Wegmans?
It was a grocery store in San Diego. I'm not sure what it was
like
called.
A lowbrow grocery store, in which case Red Delicious is more likely.
It wasn't fancy. It was in a strip mall type place, I guess. It was
have a lot of produce or a little. I mean,
it's not Honeycrisp.
Like thousands of apples that you could pick from, or
no.
What's your apple selection?
They had about 4 kinds of apples, and I went for these because they were big, and I thought big is better. I'm on the road. I need healthy snacks. I'm getting the biggest apples you got.
Big is sometimes better. I agree with that. A big apple, often crunchier.
Right. So, how was Comic-Con?
I loved it. I was there to be on a panel about the stuff I'm doing with Ahoy, which is I have a new Toxic Avenger series that's launching in October.
What I was going to bring up.
And Justice Warriors. I mean, those are my 2 books that I'm working on right now. They both come out in the fall. And then, I talked to retailers, and I didn't have a lot of professional obligations. I wasn't tabling. So I got to roam around, bought a few books, mostly hung out with other, colleagues, writers, and cartoonists. A lot of people I know, and met a lot of people. And that's basically what I was there for. Comic-Con can be a draining and overwhelming and hot and over commercialized thing, but if you just hang out with people and don't spend 10 hours on the floor every day, it can be a great experience.
Right. And it's way easier to do that if you're did you get like invited and comped, or did you have to pay for your tickets?
not the badge or anything because I was on a panel. I mean, I had to
Right.
pay for my flights and stuff, but I
Well, no, I
also,
understand.
yeah,
I know that for those of us who have to pay for more, and it like the first time I got a press badge where it was either cheaper or free, it changed how I did the con in terms of,
yeah.
oh, I don't have to do everything. I didn't pay to like you
I
pay
don't know
for your
how people
flight.
do it because
You
I
pay
see
for your
people.
flight, that means you want to like get the best out of San Diego, but it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be the best all out of the con.
Yeah, well, I don't know how people do it because you see people there. They have
Yeah.
their children with them. There's a family of
Ay.
four.
No.
They're paying hotel rates,
Right.
food every day,
Yeah.
4 badges plus they're then you got to wait in line to if you unless you just want to buy normal books, which you can go buy any time. You
Right.
have to usually like wait in line or go to this, figure out what the signing schedule is. I mean, just a lot. My kids would love it. I'd love for my kids to be there for 45 minutes and then for them to go teleport back home.
Right.
Yeah, because even the whole
Or
hotel
to the zoo.
experience with children, not nice.
Yeah.
Like you're changing their sleeping environment. That's a headache. My
Are you
God.
are you getting the lawnmower outside from
No,
me from my mic? Okay, good because
I
it's
don't hear it.
I'm hearing it pretty loudly myself, but I'm glad it's not coming through for
I mean,
our
I don't know. Ben, do you hear it?
cherished listeners.
No, I don't hear any lawnmowers. I refuse.
Do you
Good.
want to try to either one of you want to give the lawnmower sound just for our listeners to know what Matt's going through?
Yeah, Matt, do your best impression of a lawnmower for us, please.
You're the Looney Tunes guy. I figured you had the Mel Blanc can make any sound. That part wasn't part of your Looney Tunes obsession, Ben.
Uh, I do like. I would like to do voices. When I made the trailer, when I was making the trailer for the new Justice Warriors, which everyone who's listening to this should go and
Yeah, it's
share on
very
their
good.
social media platforms. I made a trailer for Vote Harder, which is pretty much as good as any animated film trailer you're going to see this year. I'm pretty proud of it. I did
Once again, Ben
originally.
has absolutely no problem with lack of self-esteem or ego.
Oh no, like it's good. I
It
like
is,
being good at my job.
if
You are
you're
good at your job.
if
I'm
you've
just
ever
so
seen,
used to comics people like it's okay. I hope people
yeah,
like it.
well, it's because Ben is an extremely talented animator and put a lot of time into this. It is above and beyond a normal book trailer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and originally I had done all the voices in Scratch Audio myself, and I sent it to Matt, and he was like, "I don't know about this, Ben. I don't know about this trailer idea you're coming up with." And I was like, "No, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, Matt. I know people who can do voices." And I was only able to keep my Scratch audio for a character that I have deemed in the credits Visor Mutant, and I got to make the noise. Just like a perverted Yoda sound. Yeah, but when we go to series, I'll do a voice. Who am I doing in the series, Matt? What voice am I doing?
The crab mutant, maybe.
Oh, I could do the crab. That's fine. Yeah, I'm down.
Now I don't know if you how so I don't know how carefully you've looked at every single little detail of the backups that I do. But I did the crab at least reappears on
Yeah,
the
I
social
did
media
see.
field.
I did.
Feed.
I love the backups. So something we do in Justice Warriors is Matt does his like own alternative world version of Justice Warriors. So I draw the main pages and then Matt gets his pages at the end of every issue. And so Matt basically makes like his old political cartoons, but in the world of Bubble City.
Yeah.
And I think they are absolutely essential, even more essential than the first series. I think they are absolutely essential to Vote Harder.
Yeah.
They're like they're load bearing cartoons within it.
So what we have in between each chapter is I have a 1-page comic strip that is, like Ben said, kind of like reminiscent of my old comics, except I'm doing them. It's like a lot of media and punditry reacting to the election.
Okay.
And then, so those are like proper comics. And then there's like a 1-page, basically what it is the police chief's computer screen, and she's monitoring all these various things that are happening, commentary online mostly, and various news items and such. So it changes every issue, and it gives you a little more insight into the world and how people are responding to the election. And I've even done in-world editorial cartoons, so not the strips that Ben was talking about, but like I do cartoons in different styles, in the styles of Tom Tolles and Ben Garrison, that are about the election. So that was so much fun, and I can't wait for anyone who is aware of those creators and those political cartoons to see me. I tried really hard to get them, to ape their style really closely. I think I did pretty good.
The Ben Garrison one is one of my favorite things about the book. I love. I can't express with words my love for the Ben Garrison cartoon. Everything is labeled. Nothing makes any sense. It's completely hysteric.
It's perfect.
There should have been like somebody's weird butt in it too. Like if you think about Ben Garrison's classics where he's drawing Trump and Trump just has the best ass.
Well, see, this is where if we just had infinite amount of space and time, I would do the Ben Garrison. I think Sven Borison is the name there.
Yeah.
I would do a Sven Borison for every issue, I guess, or at least I'd want him to hit every candidate, right? So he's he's definitely anti-mutant, right? We get that in.
Yeah, I think he's a reactionary guy.
I was gonna say you got to have him do what he does with Trump, is just like make him look about 37 years younger and 20 more pounds of muscle or 50 more pounds of muscle, and just ripped and idealized. And then I can see him being real nasty and misogynist towards Vipix, who is the kind of the challenger to the prince, and she's the she's the challenger to the prince, an establishment candidate. So it's just intended to be those two people against each other, and then the mutant Tanko comes along and wrecks everybody's plans.
Yeah, I love it. This book is funny. It's a funny book. But yes, I did notice that you put the crab businessman in there again from the first issue, and I'm very happy about it. I love Mr. Krabs.
I wanted to get him in the story, but it was just once we got going and we get into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th issue, the story really gets cracking, and there's no time to pause for a side character. But I see the crab as kind of, and other characters too, is like almost like a menagerie of, if that's the right word, of all these characters that like in The Simpsons, how they have Moe's Bar and all that shit. Like over time, we're just gonna. I think a good joke would be the crab has a different business every time we run into him.
Yes, I really like him getting like more and more important businesses that just don't work.
Yeah,
like record store, and then he's running a record plant or running some sort of plant, and then he's running a distribution center, and then he's running a full-on excavation outpost that's digging out a slum 1,000 kilometers away from the bubble.
He's kind of like the, he's in the Uz, so he's not a very privileged mutant, but he's the business owner. He's always trying to get in on the next thing that is hot for the economy. So he's getting the construction jobs, whatever else is, the Prince has a new record out. You got to be in the record business if you want to make money.
Yeah, I feel like he could get in the bubble. We're getting into real deep
See, no,
here.
You guys are probably noticing that I'm just being quiet and smiling. I love it. One of the reasons I love getting collaborators together is every once in a while I get to just sit back and watch them rip off of each other.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of podcasts for this book. We like talking about it, and also it's just, I think because of the political content, we get on a lot of like political podcasts, and we end up just riffing and coming up with more ideas that we're going to use in the comic down the line.
That that's another question that popped into my head because, as a comics geek, I who's also a political junkie, etc. I was pleased with some of the places that I saw you guys pop up. What was kind of your most surprising, oh, you guys want to talk to us moment?
I don't know. I mean, we got on some big pods like Chapo Trap House, but like Ben does work for them, so it wasn't like it was out of
No, we're like
you
best
know.
buds. Yeah.
Right.
And I've and I've
I'm
and
tight
I've
with the
met
Chapman.
I've met them before at least, so it's not like I don't know if we had that. We haven't got on like network television or anything
No, I get
crazy.
that. I get that. But I know that Pod Save America at least plugged you. I don't
Mm.
remember if you guys got to
I
talk
don't.
to
Were
them.
we? I don't think we were on Pod Save. Were we, Ben?
No,
Did
we were
get
on
plugged?
Pod Damn.
Yeah. Well, we were on something.
I'm going
I
to
can't
try to
remember.
get us on Pod Save for the next one. I feel
So
like
is that just to be clear? I mean, I'm aware of Pod Save. They're big. They did what? Shout out Justice Warriors or
I'm sure they
I
didn't.
I thought that they had.
okay.
Um,
Well, who knows?
what did I could be
We were on some bigger ones. QAnon Anonymous that was good, and I don't know a bunch.
right.
Yeah, they're not really surprises because I'm
And
a
you did.
psycho about
Yeah.
asking
Yeah.
people to
Yeah,
be on their
we're
show.
actively pitching to get
Oh,
on them.
okay.
So
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you did get a pull quote from my friend Spencer Ackerman, so I mean,
oh yeah,
it's cool
Spencer.
when you get the Pulitzer Prize winning
Yeah, he's a good friend and
and a
comics
comics
writer
geek.
too. He's
Yeah,
just been announced as writing a
Iron Man. Oh,
Oh, is he doing Iron Man? That's
he's
great.
yeah.
doing
He's
Iron
gonna
Man.
do a I have a little insight into it. His of course he's going to do a very like national security
Yep,
informed
Of course.
yep. And his
which
Waller versus
as
Wildstorm was
they just
fantastic.
announced it at San Diego. Like I don't know the exact mechanism, but like Doctor Doom is becoming the Emperor of Earth for like a long time, like more than an event, like for a status quo. And they can't just like unseat him by punching him in the face or whatever. So they have to like deal with it. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic. I know of Iron Man is not going to be thrilled.
I voted for the other guys, so I have you.
Yeah.
I can,
Yeah, don't blame me.
Don't blame me.
I voted for Mysterio
Yeah.
to be the Emperor of Earth.
I mean, with Mysterio, I think if I have to choose a villain, let's go with Magneto. At least he has a cohesive vision.
Magneto's great, and that he's not even.
He'd be good for the
anymore,
economy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it almost
Steel
feels,
exports would double.
Yeah, I feel like Magneto is. Well, Magneto has been proven right over time, and it's better when they write him as like in the Krakoan era, he was like the hero of Krakoa, and it almost seems like if you go back and read when he was doing villainous stuff, it doesn't even read as Magneto because it's like, well, what why is he doing all this? I mean, I think when you're fighting against a government that deploys murder robots that rip off the tops of malls and incinerate teenagers with their palms, you're in the right to like attack that.
Yeah, that's the thing that really bugs me about mainstream comics is that it really is just like apologia for some of the worst behavior that you can muster, right? Like, oh, we have to stop Magneto. He's resisting the military industrial complex. Got to get that financial stimulus from the bombs.
Trask Industries. I think that's something that is coming up in the Iron Man thing because recently, this might be getting into the weeds of Marvel Comics, but like I don't know if it was Trask or whatever evil company, took over Stark Enterprises and turned his robots into Sentinels and all that. So there's fertile ground to do something with it, is the point.
I always wanted to do a story of Superman being mailed manufacturing consent, or Clark Kent getting a copy of manufacturing consent, and just like him trying to process what Gnome was laying down. I always thought that would be a fun story. No one will ever let me do that, and so I never will.
I mean, you could cheat and give yourself a uh Superman stand-in character.
Super Dan.
Super Dan, super
I mean,
yeah, Super Dan's as good as I'm gonna get right now.
I mean,
It's hot.
that's essentially what Mark Russell did with Second Coming.
Right. Sunstar.
You've
Yeah.
got Superman, everything except, you know, not Superman.
It's the match you've been waiting for, Superman versus Jesus.
Yeah.
It actually really is. It was
No, I know.
fantastic. um, the buddy comedy of Superman and Jesus
Yeah.
from the twisted mind of Mark Russell. Um, yeah, I love I again, I'm a politics junkie. I'm a comics junkie, so I love when the two come together. Um, and I think as a politics junkie, I have to be able to find ways to laugh at politics. So I'm very, very happy when people find ways to make me do that too, because really those are your options when you actually pay attention to uh, the governing powers of this world, and particularly the mechanisms for how they gain power, is to find ways to laugh or scream a lot and cry a lot, and it's a way more pleasant life to find ways to laugh. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a dark chuckle.
Yeah,
Justice Warriors is not an optimistic world, but we try to do something which is, coming off of this superhero talk, which is not just saying, oh, if good guys acted good, then they would win and we'd have a happy ending. The world of Bubble City is structured in a certain way, and those set up the guardrails, and that is the same with our world. So acting was good, but we are confined and can only do so much as individuals, as the hopefuls of the Bubble City election system find out in various ways.
Yeah, and then there's this weird disavowal in politics of violence and how like violence is a
People are
constituent.
weird. Like people are weirdly discounted being violent.
yeah, we do kind of pick and choose which violence is good.
Yeah, we
bad.
Absolutely.
exactly. Our violence good, their violence bad, should be destroyed with our violence.
Right.
So that's something I really like about the book, and something I continue to find inspiration in, and a lot of reward for finding ways to play with it, is just being violent. We love violent media. Like even just from going back to my Looney Tunes, I want to see someone get hit on the head with a sock full of quarters. That's an appealing thing to see, but do I want to hit someone on the head with a thing of quarters? No. And so there's that.
I mean,
frisson
Well,
there.
you might want to, but you often aren't gonna.
ironically, much to the chagrin of Frederick Wortham,
Mhm.
as it turns out, violence in media is as likely to be healthy as unhealthy, because it gives us an outlet.
Yeah, there's catharsis in Justice
Right.
Warriors. So there's catharsis, but at the same time, I love it when there's catharsis and you feel bad almost instantly after that
Right.
cathartic event. So
Right.
like seeing someone get
I
blown
love
up.
seeing this person blown up. No, that should not happen in real
Yes,
life.
exactly.
Well, and one of the themes that I think, political violence of both kinds, both approved and disapproved of political violence, are explored in both volumes. Right? It's
Right.
about the state repression via the lovable police characters we've developed, and also the movements against it. In the first volume, sort of an armed insurrectionist movement that made some good points, but also was crazy. And in this volume, trying to do that through electoralism, but also, various forms of violence are explored on both sides. I guess I'll say without spoiling anything, but it's called an election thriller for a reason. We wrote it, and so I'm very curious to start hearing from people as we roll out the release, how they think this is going to end up by the end, because it takes a few plot turns to try to keep it interesting, and who is going to be the winner of the election and how. I think we keep people guessing until the very end.
I
Hey,
look
the
forward
writing
to
on the
being able
current
to read it.
election too.
Yeah.
You're welcome to like shoot me a copy anytime you want. I'll give you my thoughts. Um, Otherwise, I'll read it with everybody else on the 11th of September. Um, as we're starting to run up against time, I have to ask my favorite and required question to ask everybody, because I like to get inside people's heads and get um, more reading material, is if I don't have a backlog already. Um, so tell me something that you love, preferably a comic, but I won't limit you. And I'm also not limiting you to one if you have five and you don't want to choose, but something that you love that not enough other people have read, seen, experienced, and you need them to, because you need more people to talk to about it.
Uh, I'm boring with this stuff. I really like Love and Rockets.
I adore Love and Rockets.
I'm sure it's very popular and everybody also really likes it.
Well, I mean, I think the people who know it love it. It's still
Could always be
depressingly
more
underground.
popular.
Right.
Yeah, it could be more popular.
But we do a weekly book club on Love and Rockets. We've been going through issue by issue.
Yeah, I love Love and Rockets. I love that it's Archie comics with space stuff, and then he just sort of like quietly drops the space stuff and does Archie comics.
Well, and then kind of brings back the space stuff later, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that it's a focus on like characters and a real
That actually age.
yeah. They just like love their characters and want to act out these characters' lives, and I find that really interesting. And then this is a completely random thing that I bought online, and it will appeal to nobody else, but I find it infinitely useful. So I got this book, Grammar of the Film Language. And it's sort of a comic book in the sense that it has like these incredibly complex diagrams
Right.
of how to frame things, and then how to like cut and have different setups and panel flows, but it's obviously designed for linear film stuff. But it's like one of the most dense and useful texts on visual storytelling I've ever found. And it's also drawn by some pervy artist in the 70s. So every single panel is just like hunky dudes with like long blonde hair and then naked women.
Right.
That's the layout of every scene they're doing. So I really like that. This is a thing I'm really enjoying.
Hey,
I don't recommend
is,
it to anyone who likes comics. It's
it
there
is
if you want to
actually
make movies.
it is actually popular enough that as soon as I got Grammar of the, Google gave me the rest.
Yeah, I'm sure it used to be more popular in
Daniel
the
Aragon,
60s
right?
when it was published. Yeah, but it really is just like a text for filmmakers, and I'm a sucker for that stuff. I just like I like textbooks. I'm boring. I suck.
I'm a teacher. You know, so I think that there should be more comics textbooks, but as you pointed out here, it has that crossover because, and this is why I think there should be more comics textbooks. They're already going that direction. Good textbooks have more and more diagrams and pictures and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop the guise of we must have mediocre prose. Just saying. That's my teacher opinion. But no, this actually looks cool to me because I'm that kind of nerd. And my son's likes making film. I have other filmmaking friends, so you might have just provided me with a new gift to give people.
Yeah, it's dense but good. And Matt, what about show me your new acquisitions?
Yeah, you were
I'm
just in
always
San Diego. Did you find anything cool?
I only I limited myself from bringing back too much because I buy a lot of comics and then there's giant piles of things
I
to read because I
understand.
want to read everything that's good.
I get it.
I've gotten really into a lot of older comic strips this year, and I read them almost daily. So, for instance, Dick Tracy, Little Orphan Annie, Popeye. Popeye is really good. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that, but it holds up well, and it's can be
Right.
laugh out loud funny at times, and it's really good satire and really good at like at people stuff and doing really what we call today relatable humor. And you're like,
Right.
oh, Popeye's a certain type of guy, and it's good. It's great. I love it. I'll go more obscure
And
though to tell people something.
Fantagraphics is doing fantastic
Yeah,
collections of Popeye right now too.
that's what I'm reading. And then I went even deeper into like obscure stuff. So I got Big Ben Bolt, which is a what 60s and 70s. No, it starts in the 50s, I think. Daily comic strip, and it's about a boxer. And I love boxing. I do it as
Okay.
exercise, and I love it as a sport. And reading, it's like a long form. I mean, it's daily, long running, serialized comic. Unfortunately, there's only one volume of it, and it didn't sell well, and it's out of print. And there's not more because no one knows what Big Ben Bolt is. But I think it's really good. John Cullen Murphy, who went on to do Prince Valiant,
And
and
it is also on Comics Kingdom.
I certainly have enjoyed Big Ben Bolt.
Very cool. So strips.
Big Ben Clarkson.
Well,
Biggie Ben
now I'm
Clarkson.
gonna have to see if you want to join the comic strip book club at some point. Like Bob Sikoriak, Carl Krumholtz, Chicago area actor Sean Harkleroad, and Jonathan Bayless and I get together every 3 months and discuss a different cartoonist.
Oh, cool.
We're doing the
Well,
Nancy one around the corner.
if anyone's going to know about this stuff, it might be them. It's very like no one cares about 1950s comic strips anymore, but I think they're kind of interesting.
Are
But
there
that's the
like
point is that it's just
quintessential
fun.
boxing comics? Like I'm
Uh,
getting really into I'm changing gears for certain reasons and looking at a lot of sports media. And I like
well,
what are the best sports comics that I got to look at?
so I haven't read the following yet, but I do intend to a little bit, which is for sports comics, they're huge in the manga world.
Yes,
So
Yes.
Slam Dunk is one of the big
I've
ones.
heard is very good. Yeah,
That's basketball. Boxing mangas are huge. There's two that are extremely long running and supposed to be good, but they're not translated in print in English yet. I think one is coming out soon. And then there's all I read Ping Pong, which is
Yeah.
boy,
I've heard is also good. I've heard the anime is good as well. I've seen some really impressive shots from it.
Ping Pong is great because it's not one of the problems with manga is that they run on a little too long because they're successful and then but Ping Pong is short. It's two thick volumes in English. You could pretty much read it in a day. And like I think most sports mangas from the little I've read are about determination and personal growth and
Yeah.
overcome. They're about these
That's what sports stories are about.
these
It's about a
earnest
character
themes and
overcoming their problems in their life, and then
It's-
that is represented by them winning the prize.
Yeah, exactly. And the ping pong action is done really well because manga artists know how to do action. So like
Mhm.
if you think a ping pong match is not interesting, you just got to see this guy cook. It's really good.
Okay, I'm going to check that out because I'm also doing sports movies. I watched Over the Top the
Yeah,
other
there we
day, which was trash, complete garbage. I watched The Iron Claw, which
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
it's good. It's actually pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like good, but it was effective. There were some good moments in it.
Yeah.
Some really great some really great cuts. And started watching a George Clooney directed rowing movie, which was a bit of a snooze fest. And There was another one. There was a Russell Crowe boxing movie that I had to turn off because it was so bad. It was really boring. Yeah, so I'm doing all
I
sports
did
movies for the next
I did
year.
just drop into the chat for you.
Mhm.
Eddie Campbell, another guest on the show,
Yeah.
guy that I spent is Chicagoan, so I bump into him at various local things. Um, did a book called The Goat Getters, Jack Johnson, the Fight of the Century, and how a bunch of raucous cartoonists reinvented comics. So the big Jack Johnson
Mhm.
fight was before that there was a ton of photography and film and whatnot. So it was mostly covered through cartoonists. So you've got Jimmy Switterton, Tad Dorgan, George Harriman, Rube Goldberg, all doing boxing comics for.
Yeah, that's great. Wish we could go back to that era. Abolish video and photography and
There are
just
definitely times that it would be.
send
You know,
cartoonists to cover events.
I one of my and Caitlin McGurk threw up a virtual exhibit for it. But one of my favorite things about the Bill Blackbird exhibit that Ohio State did at the Billy Ireland a few years ago is like showing the nonfiction comics, the front page comics, the
Yeah.
comics to go along with the storytelling, because photos in newspapers really didn't start popping until the 20s and 30s and even become like regular until like World War II. So for a long time, you know, uh, Windsor McKay would do the front page drawing of whatever, as well as Little Nemo, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's a whole other fun conversation. But since you were looking for boxing comics, I remembered when I was talking to Eddie, he listed this as one of the favorite projects that he's done, and therefore I figured I would share it again.
That's cool. Thanks,
I'll
man.
put it on the list,
Yeah.
the holy list of research.
Well,
Tax deductible comic books.
I mean, it is co it is Ohio State University Press, so it might be easier to get there than anywhere else. So just tell Matt to pick it up for you when he goes to Comics Crossroads.
You have your mission.
Yeah. All right.
Or for that matter, if you know anybody in Columbus, I'm gonna plug it just because I'm jealous that I won't be in Columbus. On August 18th, the Billy Ireland is having a book sale. Stuff that's like duplicate in their collection and whatnot.
Oh yeah, cool.
So anybody, imagine like your average library book sale only at the repository of comic book knowledge.
Yeah. Nice.
So, guys, thank you so much. It was a blast. I'm looking forward to reading both. Actually, you didn't give us a quick Toxic Avenger plug.
Yeah, the Toxic Avenger comes out as a 5-issue series in October. It is a new version of Toxie that has been updated for the modern world, and I'll give you the basic pitch is that there's a toxic waste train spill in the town of Tromaville, New Jersey. Somewhat similar to what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, except this starts mutating the teens, and the town is placed under quarantine by a corporation that is in control of the cleanup effort and may have some ties to the spill itself. And
No,
the
what?
Melvin Junko, aka the Toxic Avenger, the 98-pound weakling who is transformed into a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength, as the movie once said, becomes a sort of hero in the town, and you'll have to read for more. But similar in the sense that I'm into mutant satire, violence, mutants, socially relevant satire. So if you like Justice Warriors, yeah, if you like Justice Warriors, I think you'll like it. And if you like Toxic Avenger, you'll probably like it.
Definitely like Justice Warriors.
Oh, the last thing I'll say about it is that it's if you remember the 1991 Toxic Crusaders cartoon and toy line. I'm actually incorporating a lot of that stuff into this.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Justice Warriors Vote Harder is in stores September 11th. Ben and Matt, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a blast. For 22 panels, we will see you after the next page.
All right. Thanks so much.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22panels podcast.